On March 24, 2015, the world was left in shock upon hearing the news that the Airbus A320, flight number 4 U9525, operated by German Wings, Germany, carrying 144 passengers and 6 crew members, had crashed in the Digne region of southern France. In just 6 minutes, it plummeted at a speed of 700 kilometers per hour, taking the lives of all 150 people on board. This was not an ordinary plane crash. It was a calculated conspiracy that sent shockwaves through the history of global aviation. Was it the mafia at play, or was it an act of aviation terrorism? Let's explore this in the following video. This was the terrifying moment that haunted the Airbus A320. In a mere 6 minutes, the aircraft descended from an altitude of 38,000 feet to 24,000 feet, dropping a staggering 14,000 feet, equivalent to 4.3 kilometers. At this rate of descent, aviation experts suggested that there were no signs of engine failure, indicating that the pilot still had control. If the engines had failed, the plane would have crashed into the mountains within minutes. However, the sudden drop in altitude over 6 minutes implies that the pilot was attempting an emergency landing or was maneuvering the aircraft in a controlled descent. Among the victims were 16 German high school students and 2 teachers, along with 2 infants and 2 opera singers. The tragic accident plunged the families of those on board Flight A320 into a state of panic, fear, and unbearable grief upon learning that all passengers and crew members had perished. Upon receiving information about the crash, investigators from Germany and France collaborated to uncover the cause of this unexpected and perplexing incident. The harsh reality of this tragedy became a nightmare for humanity. Following the accident, the German newspaper Bild published the black box recorder data, revealing the horrifying truth. The cockpit recording reveals that Captain Patrick Sondenheimer made every effort to open the cockpit door after his colleague, First Officer Andreas Lubitz, deliberately locked it and took control of the aircraft, crashing it into a mountain. In the initial part of this recording, the captain tells First Officer Lubitz that he doesn't have time to use the restroom before departing Barcelona, and Lubitz responds that he can go to the bathroom anytime. He will handle flying the plane. After the captain stepped out, Lubitz quickly locked the door from the inside. At this point, the airplane was almost halfway through its journey to Düsseldorf, Germany. However, at 10:29 a.m., radar at air traffic control detected that the aircraft began to descend rapidly. 3 minutes later, air traffic controllers attempted to contact the pilots for an explanation, but there was no response. Meanwhile, an alarm signaling a dangerous descent echoed in the cockpit. Immediately after, Captain Patrick could be heard banging on the door along with the panicked screams of passengers. However, First Officer Lubitz inside remained completely silent and showed no signs of stopping. By 10:40 a.m., the passengers on the plane were increasingly panicked and shocked as they clearly heard a loud noise from the right side of the aircraft scraping against the mountain peak. After that, and not long after, there was only a deathly silence as the plane crashed into the mountainside at a speed of over 700 kilometers per hour, shattering into pieces and resulting in nearly 150 immediate fatalities. Upon reviewing the entire process, it was found that Flight A320 showed no signs of error from the moment it took off. The external climate and weather posed no threats to the flight. So why did co-pilot Lubitz deliberately steer the aircraft straight into the mountainside? According to the analysis of the flight recording, co-pilot Lubitz's behavior was completely abnormal. Consequently, German police conducted a search of Lubitz's home, where he lived with his ex-girlfriend. During this search, the police uncovered several important pieces of evidence related to the Airbus A320 incident involving Lufthansa German Wings. However, this evidence was not a suicide note as many news outlets had reported. After 4 hours of searching, the police left Lubitz's residence with a large blue bag, a desktop computer, a laptop, and several other documents. In addition, investigators did not find any clues linking Andreas Lubitz to terrorism, nor did they uncover any financial difficulties. On the contrary, he led a very active lifestyle, enjoyed marathon running, pop music, and nightclubs. Lubitz joined German Wings in September 2013, shortly after completing his training at the Lufthansa Flight Academy, the parent company of German Wings. By the time of the incident, Andreas Lubitz had accumulated 630 flight hours and was regarded as a careful, methodical pilot. However, Another report indicated that the 28-year-old co-pilot had previously suffered from depression and experienced burnout from work. People with this condition initially love their job, but over time and under various pressures such as high stress, their work performance diminishes, leading to a series of mental health issues, causing feelings of apathy, social withdrawal, and severe stress. On the other hand, Germanwings maintained that they had not received any documentation related to Lubitz's health. This raises the question, did Lubitz intentionally hide his condition, or did the airline manage safety protocols too loosely, disregarding the lives of others? During his training at the flight academy, Andreas Lubitz had to take a break from his studies, but returned and easily passed all proficiency in medical exams. A noteworthy aspect of Lubitz was his passion for heights and flying. After becoming a pilot for Germanwings, he also joined a flying club in Germany known as LSC. A member of LSC mentioned that Lubitz was cheerful and sociable, and was very happy to be employed by Germanwings. Peter Rucker noted that about 6 months before the accident, Lubitz appeared sad after breaking up with his girlfriend, and sometimes did not want to return to the home in Montabaur, where they had lived together. During those times, friends and club members advised him to find joy in his work, but Lubitz remained quiet and simply sat in silence. Notably, this individual revealed that Lubitz had once confessed he was haunted by air crash incidents while flying, particularly the mysterious disappearance of Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 in 2014. Furthermore, investigators received additional insights from Lubitz's ex-girlfriend, Maria W., who said Lubitz had expressed a desire to do something that would change the system, making the world take notice of him. Additionally, Maria revealed that Lubitz frequently suffered from nightmares, often waking up screaming, "We're going to crash." All these pieces of evidence point towards Lubitz having disturbed thoughts and having possibly premeditated this disaster. As of now, the true cause of the Airbus A320 accident remains unclear. Why did Lubitz choose to end his life and the lives of hundreds of others in such an extreme manner? The real answer seems buried beneath countless fragments in southern France. The moment 150 people lost their lives marked one of the darkest chapters in the history of Germany's largest airline and the global aviation industry. It has left behind a legacy of sorrow and lasting trauma for hundreds of families of those who perished. Are there any other aviation disasters you know of? Leave your comment below.